have 5 minutes, please, for the Conservatives.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Minister's colleague, MP Anthony Housefather, is actually on Twitter right now agreeing with the Conservative position that Sammy Doon should be listed as a terrorist entity. I wonder if the Minister responsible for anti-racism would agree with her colleague, Mr. Housefather, and the Conservative Party on that position.
Madam Chair, I'm not sure if my colleague was in the House during question period, and this was a question that was posed to the Minister of Public Safety, and I think he was very clear in his answer. Any indication or
good enough for Mr. Housefather, so I thought maybe the party's position had changed since then. Madam Chair, through you, I think we can all agree any listing of a terrorist organization is not done by politicians, it's done by the advice of our national and security intelligence. We take public safety extremely seriously. This is a work that our intelligence does on a daily basis, with our Five Eye partners. And the Minister, as he mentioned in the House of Commons today, I think the Minister may want to meet with Mr. Housefather to discuss this, but okay, answer received. No,
Madam Chair, I think it's important to get the answer on the record. I think it's important to get my answer on the record. Thank you. And as the Minister of Public Safety indicated, that he has urgently asked for an expedited advice from the National Security Intelligence, and he'll have an answer in the next coming days.
I don't think that's fast enough for Mr. Housefather. I hope you guys can have a conversation.
Mr. Housefather is not a member of this
It's on Twitter. You could look at it. Okay.
Let's move on.
We'll keep moving. Does the Minister support the government's black justice strategy as part of the anti-racism strategy?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Are you familiar with some of the radical criminal justice policies that your government's black justice strategy is considering at the moment?
Madam Speaker, I think it's important to recognize that the work that we're leading, working alongside Black communities right across this country, is fundamentally something that we have heard from communities members on the ground of addressing systemic racism within our criminal justice system, which is important that we address. This is the work that my colleague, Minister Virani, is leading. There's nothing that has been, there's no decisions have been made yet around the strategy, but I know we're going to be working alongside community members to make sure that communities...
Is the Minister familiar with a document called the Roadmap for Transformative Change that was released this summer?
Madam Speaker, this is a work that my colleague, Minister Virani, is leading. We have very meaningful conversations on how to address systemic racism within our criminal justice system, which we know.
Your colleague, Minister Virani, described this document as, quote, history-making for the Black community and, quote, important milestone for the Black community. It seems like something the anti-racism strategy leader may be familiar with, but it sounds like you're not. So just to recap
Point of
a couple
order,
of the...
Madam Chair? Yes. It's not appropriate for a committee member. They may ask their questions, but suggesting things that have not been said into the record is inappropriate. And I would ask that Mr. Jivani just stick to his thoughts and not try to speak on behalf of the minister. She's more than capable of doing that on her own. Unless he would like to just continue with his questions, then committee can get back to it.
That's not a point of order, Madam Chair. You know, as a Black Canadian, I've been assured that the anti-racism strategy is a whole-of-government approach. And if my community is told by the Minister of Justice that something is, and I quote, history-making and important milestone for Black people, that the leader of the anti-racism strategy would be familiar with it. I think that's a fair question. Nonetheless, some of the policies that are included in this include mass decarceration, reducing the number of incarcerated people by 30% over the next 10 years, decriminalizing a supply of 30 days worth of hard drugs, including cocaine, heroin, and meth, and also defunding police departments by removing 25% of federal grants from eligibility to police organizations. Seconds. So the question I have is, do you support these radical criminal justice policies that your government has published as part of the Black Justice Strategy?
Madam Speaker, I think it would only be a Conservative making a joke out of, making a joke out of systemic racism that
This is
we
not a
have
joke.
seen an
You wanna flood our communities
over-incarceration
with drugs.
of
I have
Black
a
and
right to
Indigenous
ask you
people
questions
in
about
our
it.
criminal
Order,
justice system.
order.
To be making a joke
Order,
about
please.
that it is disgraceful.
Mr.
But I expect better. I would think I
Mr.
would expect
Jivani,
better
allow the
from
minister
people.
to answer the question, please.
Nobody's laughing, Madam Chair. They're flooding our communities with drugs. This is a problem.
That's not true.
Go to the second question for 5 minutes, please. The Liberals,